Hey everybody, we're here at the Spring One Conference 2010 in lovely Lombard, Chicago suburbs. And I got Neelan and Mick here aside to talk about what's going on with Tasktop and the recently announced Code2Cloud.
Yeah, so the background for this is everything that's been happening on the Agile and ALM side with basically we've got enterprise ALM technologies, all these best-of-breed Agile vendors, and all this cool innovation happening in open source around distributed version control systems like Git, continuous integration becoming more central with things like Hudson, and everything that's happening around Eclipse Milan and it's becoming a top-level Eclipse project now. At the same time, on the application development side, we've got all the innovation that's been layered on top of Java, right? The frameworks become the core of the innovation. Then the deployment destination just changed on us again from the app server to the cloud. We're in the middle of that transition, and the developers just left picking up all these pieces. What we've done and been masterminding for about the past year is to put all those pieces together, build on the best open source technologies, both on the framework side and on the application lifecycle side. And the result of that is something we announced yesterday with VMware called Code2Cloud.
It's actually going to be available in 2011 sometime or something like that, right? So it's sort of in a preview mode, it seems like.
The tech preview is coming.
Yeah, it'll be here as soon as we can get it out.
Right.
It's working. I use it every day.
There's basically three parts to it, kind of, as I recall. Can you go over what those three parts are?
Yeah, so just think it's in the end the goal is about connecting your desktop and IDE, the developer desktop, with the cloud deployment destination, and using the application lifecycle tools as a hub for that.
Right.
So we've got from your IDE, all you do is you sign up for Code2Cloud, create a new application. The application then gets hosted at your deployment destination of choice, say VMforce, but then the Git source code is hosted for you, sucked right out of your workspace. A new issue tracker, a cloud-centric issue tracker is created for you, and your builds are created. So you basically make a commit in Git in your workspace, that triggers off a continuous integration build, a successful build that triggers off a redeployment of the application. Then we get the layer, so that's basically this integration platform where we put all the pieces together and connect the developer's desktop with the deployment destination. And then really where we're innovating is on top of that. So that's sort of the base set of functionality. You can integrate with your existing ALM systems through the Tasktop Enterprise's interoperability layer if you want to make it work with things like RASFlow Concert or
so you can kind of swap things in and out, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. You can swap out, in this Code2Cloud hub, you can specify my STM comes from here. I want to use suck in a public project from GitHub.
Right.
This is about integration. This is a core integration platform, and the importance of that integration and having that cloud-specific application lifecycle technology is why we made it open source. So VMware is hosting the public cloud solution. The stack itself is open source.
I think the important thing to realize here is that if people want the integration story and they've already got their existing tools and stuff like that, we've got a story around that, and that's kind of what Tasktop does.
Right.
But if they want just a simple turnkey solution, they've got a greenfield project that's brand spanking new. This thing's going to work, and it's going to make their lives a lot easier. The amount of time I've seen my developers over the last 10 years spend time configuring servers and dealing with all of this stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with our business has been palpably painful for me. No, I want you to code something that solves our business problems.
And what do you think the willingness is to sort of let go of that fun tedium? Have you guys
fundamental?
I always used to
mind of a software developer.
I always used to joke that Java developers were sort of like self-flagellating programmers, right? they really enjoyed the difficultiness of things.
No, and it's true. We end when you get sick of debugging this hard problem with the application, it's actually fun to go and tweak your CI system and add some extension to it. Or the reason Milan's one of the most contributed to open source projects because people like to tweak their. We've had 1,000 different contributions of interesting functionality.
Yeah.
Because people like to tweak the work environment, and so there'll always be that tendency for developers to solve their own problems. But once you get into the point where you're spending a good chunk of your day administering servers and virtualized runtimes, either on-premise or hosted, it's gotten too ridiculous. And you have a sense for that, and you have a sense that just how much of your time you're wasting. So having that turnkey solution, but also the open source platform, not just open APIs, but an open source platform so you can tweak and add new extensions to Code2Cloud because it's Friday and you're sick of the other stuff you've been doing all day.
Right. You can work on your whittling.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, exactly.
You just announced the Code2Cloud stuff, but what do you guys anticipate you'll be doing in the next year or so? Just more tools proliferation?
So we can't, there are going to be announcements happening this quarter about what else we've been up to in Agile and ALM. So in those 3 pillars of functionality, the enterprise solutions, which are a key focus, because the productivity benefits of Tasktop are very, very palatable when you've got 2,000 developers wasting half their time on looking for the stuff they need and switching and not updating their issue tracker. So those enterprise ALM solutions are from HP, IBM, Microsoft, the enterprise ALM vendors. Those are a key focus for us, and there's a lot going on there. We've got the Agile vendors, and then all the stuff happening in open source. So on all 3 fronts, federating this best-of-breed ALM stack, where it's got one of the enterprise ALM vendors, but some's already, we're seeing a lot of people who are already deploying Git internally, because there's a fundamental benefit to this much more tasked and change-oriented way of working that Neelan and Git give you. So, given that layer of sanity, and then these new innovative features like our cross-repository agile planning.
We recently announced something with Accept 360, a relationship with Accept 360, where all this valuable information now that's actually now being real information. That's not a developer saying at the end of the week, here's where I spent my time, but actually having real information. The subtasks aren't being created, at the end of the project to mimic what the user said. Because that was a requirement from the Agile, manager.
Yeah, it seems like just like other types of businesses are looking for real-time info to make more decisions on a sub 24-hour basis, kind of. Yeah. Like even programming as an industry needs that.
Right. So all this getting this valuable information up to the planning tools and things like that are going to be incredibly valuable. And all of a sudden now it's planners and project managers and a little less technical folks that are going to be really interested in what's coming out of the ALM tools and Tasktop.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the big shift we've made is we've made tasks to be the core unit of production of software. It's not just around the source files anymore. It's not around the changes in the SIP. It's tasks and everything that hooks onto that, like the agile planning process, the chain set in Subversion, the task context which captures the developer's knowledge in case they get hit by a bus tomorrow and someone else needs to pick this up. So that. We're both pushing on the integration aspects of that. So Code2Cloud is a first-class resident, as are the other ALM solutions. Those things work together. And then, again, taking that value, so the fact that we've captured the tasks, the knowledge, everything that's related, linked it all up, and then pushing it into these other systems, for example, the project and portfolio management.
Right. Can you speak to the spread of Git sort of in corporate use, or beyond the use of all the round corner cool kids on the internet who talk about stuff?
Well, it's again, there's fundamental value in Git, and it's the same because it's so task-based.
Right.
The fact that where a really cool innovation that we're doing around Git is providing automatic shelving per task. You switch tasks in Tasktop, your Git changes get shelved.
And that would kind of use the private repository that you have in Git,
right?
Or whatever the terminology
model,
is, right?
The same reason that it worked for, just like Neelan grew up around this open source style of collaboration.
Yeah.
That's how we formed the tool, right? Open source developers have found these very effective ways of collaborating around source code. They've captured them in tools that they built for themselves, Linus with Git, what we've done around Neelan, and now our mission is to bring all those benefits into the enterprise with the enterprise ALM integrations, the Agile ALM integrations that we have.
It seems like we're always, as programmers, taught not to let leaky abstractions happen, to let the tool drive how you do stuff, but it seems like with things like Git, like you were just talking about, there's a few things that the tool kind of lets you change differently.
That's right. Yeah.
Like being able to kind of multitask a task you're working on, or something. I don't quite know how to put it, but it's interesting.
But it's exactly. It just has the right mental model, has the right scalability profile, and all those things. That said, we're seeing a lot of enterprises it's on the cutting edge. We're seeing them bleed here and there because of the fact it doesn't deploy properly on the Windows servers, or at least it's not easy to do that. So again, with these efforts of unifying some of those core components of the open source application lifecycle tools with the Code2Cloud effort, we hope to improve on that a lot and help on-premise deployments of things like Git.
Well, great. Well, thanks for going over all that with us. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Michael.
Thanks, Michael.